I got Tyreek at 1, Stephon Diggs at 2, Nuke at 3, Calvin Ridley at 4, Devonte at 5.
Pace League, gotta know what's up. Justin with Clock Management, and shout out Jay the Plug. Yeah, Pace League, do it one time for charity. Gotta bring the energy, give the people what they need. Let's go.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pace League show, or as I like to call it, Pace League Weekly, even though we do miss it every once in a while because people have lives. Welcome, MG Marcas Grant from NFL Network. How are we doing today?
We're good, man. I appreciate the invitation. Looking forward to the start. I mean, we are full on into fantasy draft season now, right? Like, Scott Fishbowl draft is happening. This is coming soon. So, like, summer's over, everybody. It's time for fantasy football.
Your Scott Fishbowl might be happening. Mine is stagnant.
Oh, is yours going slow? And excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to introduce my partner here, Justin from Clock Management. Forgive me. So he's the better of the two of us. So maybe I should have him going with the introductions later on. But yeah, my Scott Fishbowl's been going pretty fast, and I'm actually pretty pumped with how it's going, man. I didn't realize that it was a 2 quarterback, and I believe it's a super flex too, isn't it?
No, so I think it's just super flex.
Yeah, you can only start 1 quarterback in the flex. So, and that's a mistake that I have made in the past. This year, I was totally aware that you could start a second quarterback. The problem is they keep getting snatched up before I get a chance to get to them. So at the moment, I only have 1. And I'm at a point now where there are so few left that it's like, well, maybe I just don't get a second one and I try to figure out how to maneuver without it. Because, at this point, like, maybe I'm better off putting a wide receiver or another tight end in that flex spot than, trying to live with like Andy Dalton or something like that.
Yeah, I have Sam Darnold as my second quarterback. Not too thrilled about it, but
I was really salty because I had Trey Lance all lined up and somebody got to him like 3 picks before me. And I'm like, that's the one that hurt the most.
Yep. That's how I ended up with Darnold.
I jumped on Justin Herbert pretty quick after I noticed that everybody was grabbing a quarterback. That's why I thought it was a 2 quarterback league, and then I got Baker Mayfield as a backup. So I was like, okay, that's not terrible. But I also got, I had a pretty decent little jump on some running backs too. So, I mean, my draft is going phenomenal.
What pick number do you guys have in that?
I'm 4.
Okay. I'm 12. I feel like the draft position is really drastically changes the layout of your team in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah, it does for sure. Well, okay, guys. Well, we'll get started here pretty quick. I know MG's got some stuff going on. I know Clock, you're getting ready to go to Costa Rica. So, yeah, man. Not for anything fun necessarily.
Oh well.
But first off, I want to thank our sponsors, Trophy Smack. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for doing a donation to the league and being an official sponsor with us. Trophy Smack, level up your fantasy talk and make sure to reward greatness with Trophy Smack and Bear Clothing, where you can see I got my nice little shirt on right here. Probably some of the best workout attire that I've ever owned. It stays fit. It's if it ain't tight, it ain't right, gentlemen, as the great Derrick Henry has said. And they're getting some shirts over to you, Marcus. Clock, you've got some coming to you as well. This guy Corey's definitely doing it right. So I digress. On to our wide receivers, gentlemen. I'm very big on drafting running back heavy, but in this day and age with everybody going crazy over these wide receivers, which rightfully so, have got so much talent there. What do you guys think about the heavy wide receiver drafting? You agree with that?
I get it. I understand it. I generally speaking, although if we're talking Scott Fishbowl, that has not been the case, but generally speaking, I try to get at least one workhorse running back early in the draft in the first couple of rounds. And I feel like I can wait until the 3rd, 4th round and still get a quality wide receiver just because there's so much depth at the position. It is easily the deepest position in all of fantasy football. So I don't necessarily feel compelled to go and grab somebody in the 1st round, maybe not even in the 2nd round, depending on how things go or where my draft position is, just because I want to make sure I get at least one good running back. I'd like to get one of the elite tight ends somewhere in the first couple of rounds if I can as well. And I feel like like I said, if I wait till the 4th round, there's still plenty of good wide receivers out there for me to load up on in the next 3-4 rounds after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's always options. In some of my leagues, I've increased it to start 3 wide receivers just to make it a little bit more competitive, like even out the positions more. So you see receivers go a little bit early. And I don't know. I like doing that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm very big on getting running backs first, but if you're late in the draft and say you have one of those crazy 14 team leagues like we're in, as it gets toward the end there, I mean, you might want to start looking at value. I mean, if say everybody goes running back heavy, and by the time it gets to you at the end of that, that snake portion of the draft where it gets to you, I mean, you might want to look at a top receiver. And that's kind of what we're trying to look at here to kind of help people figure out who they're looking at. So we're going to do a segment that Justin and I came up with called Rankings Roulette, Marcus. What it is we're going to, we've got, each of us have our lists of 10. And I've come to find out that Justin and I are way different. So this should be pretty fun. We're going to count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, like normal. And we're each going to say who our receiver is at that point. We'll do 3 of them, 1, 5, and 10, just kind of go at the beginning, the middle, and the ends. The top 10 would go. And we'll explain why. Sound good?
Cool.
All right. So remember, we're going to say it all at the same time, okay? So we'll go with the number 1. Let's just start with 1, 5, and then 10. All right? So the number 1 receiver in 3, 2, 1.
Tyreek Hill.
Adams.
Justin, you're wrong.
I have Tyreek as my 2, but this is assuming Aaron Rodgers is here, obviously. If he's not on the field, then Tyreek is my 1 for sure.
Okay. And tell me why you said Devonte. Tyreek, who's your number 1? I'm sorry, Devonte Adams?
Devonte Adams, yeah.
Okay. And so that's if Aaron Rodgers is there.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I love both those guys. Tyreek, I just think Adams can be more consistent.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. I said Tyreek just because I'm not as confident about Aaron Rodgers being there. Like, it really is. That's really the difference. I mean, it is Aaron Rodgers versus not Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers is there, if I know for sure Aaron Rodgers is going to be there, then yeah, Devonte Adams is my number 1 receiver. Without him, Devonte falls a little bit for me. So that's why I went Tyreek Hill, because at least as of this exact moment while we're doing this, Aaron Rodgers seems like he's just kind of chilling wherever it is he's chilling at the moment, and doesn't really seem to be too concerned about what's happening in Green Bay.
He's more into golf and talking trash with Tom Brady right
now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I picked Tyreek Hill because he's arguably in the number 1 offense in the NFL right now. He had 390 points in fantasy last season, which is pretty strong. 135 targets, 1,276 receiving yards. I mean, that's 15 touchdowns. And everybody says regression. As everybody knows, y'all know, that is one of my least favorite arguments for somebody dropping in a draft. But I understand if anybody's looking for any reason as to why they wouldn't want to pick him up, you got to have an argument for it. So, okay. So Marcus and I, we're correct. Justin, no. All right. So let's go into the middle of the pack at number 5. In 3, 2, 1.
Calvin
Devonte Adams.
I'm hoping everybody out there can understand this, but when we do
I didn't hear what you said, Jay.
Keenan Allen.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So go ahead, Justin. You can start it off.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just so many. Ridley is a one-man show there now. Like he's taken over as the wide receiver there. He took over last year, and Julio is out of the picture completely now. They still don't look like they have a defense. I don't believe Mike Davis should be okay, but I don't believe that they have a great running game either. So they're going to run the ball through the air. They're just going to continue to throw the ball nonstop. We'll see if Matt Ryan can break a record for the most pass attempts in a season.
that might not be too crazy to think.
We have an extra game too, so
right. I've got Ridley just ahead. I've got him at like 4. I think he's going to be great, and I felt he was going to be great even before they traded Julio Jones, but now that really opens the door for him. But I put Devonte at 5 for the reasons I sort of stated earlier. Just not sure who the quarterback's going to be. I think, look, even if it is Jordan Love, he's going to be smart enough to throw the ball to Devonte Adams a lot. So he's still going to be a target monster. Just the quality of those targets goes down significantly if it's not Aaron Rodgers, but the volume is still going to be such that opportunity is going to be there. So that's why I've got him at 5.
I got you. That's very good. I've got Keenan Allen. Herbert, that's Herbert's guy. And Herbert's going to keep airing that ball out. I mean, 147 targets, 992 yards, a little bit shy of 1,000, which, most people look at that and be like, ugh. But he had 8 touchdowns, which is about the norm. And he's one of the best route runners next to Devonte Adams with just as good a hands. I think that after the first year that Herbert was playing, I think that he trusts Allen to be the guy there again. So I just think that Allen is going to be a very, very good target in PPR leagues for sure. So that's why I've got him at my number 5. So let's see here. Number 10, dead last. Mine is a little bit like Justin and I, before you came on, MG, we were talking about this, and I'm kind of like, holy crap, how do I not have this guy higher on my list? And after talking to you guys, I'm kind of like, damn, I think I might need to make some adjustments. But here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Justin Jefferson.
This could either be the coolest segment or the worst, because people are like, what the hell did they just say? All right, Justin, go ahead with yours, bud.
So Allen Robinson is, he's amazing. He's been amazing. Nothing has changed there, except he's gotten an improvement at the quarterback position. And at some point during the season, maybe week 1, maybe further down the road, he'll get another improvement at the quarterback position. So I think that he's just going to continue, and he continuously performs at this range. I don't think it's shocking to have him up here. Over 100 receptions last season, over 1,200 yards. Dude's a maniac. He's just going to continue to produce. I think their offense only gets better.
I agree.
Yeah, I can get down with that. I mean, I think I've got Robinson at 11, so it's not like I got him crazy far down from where
I have Jefferson at 11.
All right, so I've got Justin Jefferson at 10. Whatever, yeah. It's a coin flip basically between the two of them. So last year, I liked Justin Jefferson as the rookie wide receiver that you wanted to have. I don't think he has the highest ceiling from that class. I think that belongs to CeeDee Lamb, but I felt like he was in the best spot. Stephon Diggs had just left. Kirk Cousins is pretty much just a kind of a 2-target guy mostly. I mean, in the past, he funneled all his throws mostly through Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. You just take Diggs out, put Jefferson back in there, and the song kind of was the same. So I don't see anything changing. I think Jefferson's going to be great again this year. Like I said, I think he's definitely closer to his ceiling than a guy like CeeDee Lamb, but I still think he has the potential to be a solid wide receiver 1. So I got him in there at 10.
All right. And just like the first go around, MG, this time you're incorrect. We're correct with Robinson at 10. So we got Robinson. Robinson is my guy. Man, this dude is always slept on. It seems like every year. I don't know what it is. He's been able to do it like DeAndre Hopkins. He's had hardly any quarterbacks ever, and he still produces. I mean, 151 targets, 1,250 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's the thing. His touchdowns are pretty low from what some people normally like. But I mean, then look at Julio. Julio Jones had that year where he had negative touchdowns. Totally. But, it was just rough for him. So everybody shows all the respect to Julio, but nothing to Allen Robinson. And Allen Robinson constantly produces every single year, just like Julio does. But I just think he needs to get his touchdowns up, and then he'll be fine. I mean, 330 points last season. So, I mean, you can't, and he stays healthy. He's on the field all the time. And I mean, what do Piggy and Seven say from boot camp? The best ability is availability. I love that. So Allen Robinson is my number 10. And Yeah, so that does it for the rankings roulette. I figured we'd do 3, but those went a little bit faster than I thought. So if Marcus, I don't know if you have do you have your list in front of you, or can you remember your top 10 and you run through them with it for us real quick?
Sure. Like I went Devonte Adams at 1. Tyreek Hill at 1. I'm looking at an old rankings thing. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head.
No, you were right.
So I got Tyreek at 1, Stephon Diggs at 2, Nuke at 3, Calvin Ridley at 4, Devonte at 5, DK Metcalf at 6, AJ Brown at 7, Keenan Allen at 8. I got Michael Thomas at 9, and then Justin Jefferson is at 10.
I'm just happy to hear that Mike Thomas is on somebody's list still.
Yeah, he's in my top 10 as well. I have him at 7.
Yeah, he's my number 7 as well. I think no matter who's under center, I mean, they're going to use their stars. I think Kamara is going to do well just the same. I mean, I know Hill runs the ball, but I honestly think it's going to be Jameis anyway. So I think Thomas is going to. I think he's.
Well, here's the thing. Even with Taysom last year, he still threw the ball to Michael Thomas. Was like the one guy that didn't take a hit when Taysom Hill came on the field last year. I still have this feeling because Sean Payton openly hates our fantasy teams. I still think he's going to go with like a 2 quarterback rotation where like they use Taysom Hill near the goal line. They use Jameis in the field. Like, if they were willing to take Drew Brees off the field for Taysom Hill,
absolutely, yeah, they're just going to say that
they're going to be willing to take Jameis Winston off the field.
Yeah, Jameis Winston does not demand the field more than Drew Brees.
Even an old Drew Brees, like that was
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So mine, I've got Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devonte Adams, Nuke, Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, Mike Thomas, Metcalf, Ridley, and everybody's like, dude, Ridley's low. It's just me. Allen Robinson is my 10. Ridley, the reason why he's at my 9 is just because I want to see him in the lead role, which I'm sure he's going to do just fine because he did damn good in wide receiver 2, right? But I want to see what they're going to do with Arthur Smith going. He's more of a run first guy. Granted, Derrick Henry is not there. They picked up Kyle Pitts. I think Ridley is going to be a monster. I like the other guys more before him.
Yeah. I got
throwing some shade at me for that one.
I got Devonte, Tyreek, Nuke, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, DK, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, AJ Brown, and then Allen Robinson. And I know I'm high on Terry McLaurin, but I really like Fitz magic there.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all, man. I think McLaurin is going to be. I think he's going to do even better this season now that he's got Fitzy there. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, not a downgrade to me.
The hard part, it's definitely an upgrade over what they've had in Washington the last couple of years, without a doubt. The hard part about ranking wide receivers is like if you put a guy in a certain spot, like who gets bumped, right? Like you have so many guys.
I was just telling Jay, I'm trying to figure a way to get 14 players in my top 10.
Right. It's like it's who gets bumped. So it's like, you got this guy outside your top 10. Okay, sure. Like, who do you want me to take out, in place of that guy? Like, that's the argument right now when it comes to ranking the position, because there is so much depth there that there's a slew of guys that you could put from, say 4 to 14 or 15, like in any number of orders. And so somebody's feelings are going to get hurt because they're not going to be where they think they should be.
Luckily, most of them will never see my rankings.
That part's good. Right. Yeah. That's the best part.
Yeah, man. Then you got the keyboard commandos coming out and seeing your rankings, and then they start just hammering you. Even if they're not bad, you're always going to have hate, which is good because I've always learned if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. So
yeah, the only one that I think may see our ranking, me and Jay's rankings at least, is probably Darren Waller for our tight end rankings. So obviously he's number 1.
All right, man. So MG. First off, I know I've said this a million times, and we cannot thank you enough, but thank you for being in the Pace League. It's something that we came up with that is near and dear to our hearts to help out as many charities as possible. So if you don't mind, give us an outline of what charity you're repping for.
Yeah, I'm playing for the LA Regional Food Bank. homelessness and food insecurity is certainly a major issue nationally. I live obviously in Los Angeles, and it's definitely a big deal here in LA. It's something that has been exacerbated certainly in the last year plus because of the pandemic and just, the economy and everything. And so, anything that we can do, I think, to sort of help out, to help with food insecurity, to kind of help people get a meal more consistently, I'm certainly all about it. So, I donate to them anyway. But if I can, figure out how to make a few extra bucks by playing fantasy football, then, so be it. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome.
Great cause. Yeah, I know. I've heard that homelessness is all over. I know, and it's a big deal for sure. But yeah, here in LA,
it's rough, man. It's gotten really bad. I mean, big cities always sort of have it, but I think especially in the last year or so, as cost of housing has continued to rise and wages don't necessarily stay with it. It is. It's been rough, and you see it a lot more. It's a lot more visible when you drive through parts of LA. Just drive under freeway overpasses, and it's become like miniature tent cities in some places. It's really hard to watch in the city that I love. And I didn't grow up in LA. I wasn't born here, but I've sort of adopted it. I've been here for about 20 years. And so I've adopted this as kind of my town. And so I love this place. And so it's heartbreaking to kind of see it like this now.
Yeah.
Oh man, taking a trip here, so I'll be broadcasting live from Costa Rica the next few times, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. MG, what's going on with you and NFL Network? Anything new? Anything new popping off?
Nothing really big just yet. We're still doing the podcast, so you can check that out wherever, the NFL Fantasy Football Show, wherever you get podcasts. We're still doing stuff on YouTube at youtube.com/NFL Fantasy Football. That's kind of it for now. We're going to start obviously getting ready for training camps, like into this month. The training camps really
they're putting you guys through a training camp, or
they're going to make us run. We're going to be running shuttle drills and doing 2-a-days. Expect a lot of rolled ankles and torn ACLs. It's going to be great. But check it out. Like I said, check out the YouTube channel, check out the podcast. I know at some point in August, Fantasy Live will come back. I think will just be probably a digital streaming show throughout August, and then we'll be back on network television probably start of the season in September.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Excellent. Yeah, me too. I've been waiting for that, man. I know y'all been hopping on with Mr. James Coe on Tackling Dummies.
Tackling Dummies, yeah, man, that's been fun. Yeah. I'm just the guy they call out of the bullpen when when Rank's not available. But I got to do it a couple weeks in a row, which is great. I love talking to James. We've been friends for a while now, so that show's been fun to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's awesome, dude. I got to talk to him a couple last month. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
And
he's like the hardest working man in show business. He's got like 5 gigs or something. I'm like, bro, you got 2 kids. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, he was talking about that, about how he will outwork anyone.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you got 2 kids. Like, geez, man, take a nap. Do something.
All right, Marcus, before we let you go, I always want to ask this question to any of the guests coming on whenever we do one of these rankings. Do you have any wide receiver that you're aiming for in later rounds, like close to the end? If he's sitting there, is there a guy that you're hoping is waiting for you?
The guy that I have originally, I was gonna say Laviska Shenault, but he's shooting up draft boards now. Like he's no longer an end of draft guy. Like people love him. So the guy that I really am targeting late in drafts, and I know saying this is gonna backfire on me, but whatever. I'm on Ross St. Brown. One, because it's on brand for me to draft at least one USC Trojan on every team I have. But the other part of it is I really do think he can be, and I'm stealing from my pal Matt Harmon, who said this to me originally, but that he can sort of be the Detroit equivalent of Cooper Kupp for Jared Goff in that offense. And there are a lot of targets to be had in Detroit. They're like, I get it. The Lions offense is probably not going to be very good. They're not going to score a ton of points. But in terms of where the ball is going to go in the passing game, look, it's TJ Hawkinson, and then it's sort of up for grabs at that point. Do we believe in who's like Rashad Perriman and Tyrell Williams or something like? I don't know that I believe in any of those guys. I'll rather take the chance on the rookie, and especially if the draft price is right, we're talking late in drafts. I will take that dart throw and hope that maybe he blossoms into like Cooper Kupp light or something like that.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot about Goff going through a lot of the things that he and Kupp went through in OTAs and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely a good one. Mine would be Russell Gage. This kind of goes against my Ridley, because Ridley's basically going to be taking over for Julio, and I believe that Gage is going to step into that Ridley role, and supposedly he's going to be their slot receiver. But then you got Kyle Pitts and everything like that. But I think Gage is definitely going to take a step forward because he was doing pretty well toward the end of the season last season.
Yeah. I like guy I like to take a shot on at the end of the draft is Kendrick Bourne. I think he has a chance to be a wide receiver one there, and if not, you can move on and you'll know real quick whether he is or not.
Yeah, he's going to be a drop some waiver fodder.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not going to be sitting there like, oh man, is he about to break out or not? No. If it's not immediate, it's not happening.
All right, MG, before we let you go, one last thing. Sorry, I remember the Trojan deal. So what do you feel? What's your opinion on Reggie Bush and the Heisman? You think he should get it back?
Of course he should get it back. Look, man, like OJ has his Heisman and he was accused of killing people. Like Reggie just got a house. Like there's no balance there. Like, yes, give Reggie the Heisman back. It always frustrated me that one, I always felt the people that I felt worse for in this whole Reggie Bush saga were the like facilities management and operations people at USC, because during the ban, like we weren't allowed as a university to acknowledge the existence of Reggie Bush. So all like the murals and stuff on campus that had Reggie Bush, they had to take those down and replace them. They basically just created a whole lot of work for other people who had no skin in the game whatsoever. So I always felt bad for them. The other part of that is, if all these games involving Reggie Bush supposedly never happened, somebody owes me money for tickets to games that I went to that apparently didn't happen. So, give Reggie his Heisman back. Like I said, if OJ gets to keep his Heisman, then I don't see why Reggie Bush shouldn't get to keep his.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. That's the best answer, man. OJ got to keep his, and he was accused of killing people.
Like, come on. Reggie just got a house. Reggie just got a house for his. Look, he was found guilty in a civil suit. He was found liable in a civil suit of killing two people.
Yeah.
Reggie just got a house for his parents. Like, I feel like that's, the free house, double murder. Like, those things don't really balance out.
I love it, man. Okay. On that note, that's the best way. Leave on a high note. That's fantastic. All right. Marcas Grant, thank you again so much for joining Pace League Weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how the week goes. But we appreciate you so much, my friend. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the league. Thank you so much for doing everything for the LA Food Bank. And it's always a pleasure to have you, man. Always.
Cool. Appreciate it. It's looking forward to getting this going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you one more thing. Who are you looking forward to most beating?
Oh, I think you asked me this before. I feel like I said
I did
Holloway.
last time. Yeah.
Okay. Like, I feel like it's like, just because, like what the footballers have done and look, I've played in leagues with the footballers and stuff, and they're very good at what they do. So like, I feel like beating Andy would be kind of a feather in the cap. But, like if I could just say like, hey, I beat Tpain in a fantasy league.
Yeah.
I could say like I beat Hue Jackson. I beat an NFL head coach, a former NFL head coach, and Hue Jackson. Like that'd be fun too. So that's in no particular order. I guess those are my top three.
That's awesome. Once again, Justin left off the list.
We always joke. No one will ever name us.
That's okay.
Like, it's all right. I won it either. I'm looking forward to playing Tpain too. So.
Oh yeah, everybody's looking forward to playing him. Butt smasher. It's I think that's going to give you. That's going to be.
But also at the same token, he's probably the person I want to lose to the least.
Yeah, when he basically just said he's going to be button mashing. That was his whole strategy.
How embarrassing is it going to be?
Man.
Dang it! I'm supposed to be good at this.
Like, oh man, I had to come up with some excuse. Like, well, I had like 5 guys who were hurt, and like
the
3
sun
other
was
guys
in my eyes while I was
by.
setting my lineup and
Something like you gotta have your excuses
handy. Last year used to be able to be like COVID, bro. This year, I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know. He smashed the right buttons. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. This has been a blast. Y'all have a good one, fellas. Justin, be safe in Costa Rica, doing what you're doing.
For sure.
MG, you have a good day, bud. Again, thanks so much for being with us.
Of course.
Pace League, gotta know what's up. Justin with Clock Management, and shout out Jay the Plug. Yeah, Pace League, do it one time for charity. Gotta bring the energy, give the people